Shit. How does that work? Hello. Yes. So, guys, welcome on board. I am Ouseph Chacko, and I am. What happened to the camera? Yes, and I am. I have a small off-road riding school in Kerala, and I'm a freelance motoring journalist. I also use. Crazy. Okay, sorry about that. My internet connection is acting a little weird, but yeah, as I was saying, I run a. Sorry, cancel. Can you see me, guys? Can you see me? Yes. All right. How do I get Santosh to? Come on. Sorry, guys. Just hang on, please. Forgive the. Yeah. Okay. So, guys, basically, what we're doing today is going to talk to CS Santosh. He's, I mean, if you guys don't know who that is, then I have problems with you. But basically, he is the first Indian to ever take part in the Dakar 2015. But he's won a lot of stuff in India and abroad before that. So I'll just get him on now and we can start our discussion. And I think it should work. Hi, Santosh. How are you
Hey,
doing?
how you doing? Hold on 1 second. We're good.
Yeah, sorry. The first time I'm doing a live host, so I was
Uh-huh.
trying to figure the buttons out.
Yeah, I had the same problem the other day when I was trying to host Toby,
Yeah.
and it took me a little bit to get going, so I understand.
Oh man. Okay. Now we're on, but yeah, it looks good. Yeah, I can hear
Yeah,
you
yeah,
well.
now it
Can
looks
you hear
good.
me?
Yes. Yes, everything's good. I think the connection also is good. I think you're also living a little bit away from the city, just like me. So I think we have spotty internet every now and then, no?
I know, man. Yeah, and it's threatening to rain outside, so I'm really worried about it. But anyway, let's.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, how's quarantine been for you since you brought it up? How's the lockdown? I mean, you
Well,
are at Big Rock,
yeah. Yeah, no, no,
and
no. So I think you also have been at Big Rock recently, right? So you've seen what I have access to, and fortunate enough, when they announced the lockdown, I happened to be here, and then I didn't decide to go back into Bangalore. So I think the best decision that I made, and I pretty much have access to the bikes, the bicycle. I mean, whatever I want. It doesn't really feel like a lockdown, but
yeah, I
I'm
know.
really
So
having a good time. Yes.
so for me, it was the grass is always green on the other side, but in this case, it actually is.
Uh-huh,
Yeah,
yeah. Because
yeah. You
I've been watching your stories as well, and you also have had a bit of space. I mean, outside
uh,
your house, and
Yeah, man, I have a little
yeah,
bit. I mean, not as much as Big Rock, but just one corner where I can slide the bike a little practice, and
yeah,
enough to cycle around. Yeah, because yeah,
uh-huh.
otherwise I end up sitting on my ass for like 15 hours a day. Yeah. So awesome, man. Great to have you here. Um, tell me about. I'm guessing that people want to know about how you started. I'm sorry, I said we won't talk about this, but yeah, just an introduction for the guys who
Okay.
listen.
So
Yeah.
just to add context to that question, I'd say that my fascination came right from when I used to ride a bicycle. So from then on to then find my way into TVS, which was pivotal in my career because I spent close to a decade with them. And it was with TVS that I first started to rise up from being a novice rider and then an expert rider and then riding the foreign open bikes. And of course, with TVS, I also raced Asian motocross. I raced in Dubai, in Sri Lanka. I have lots of good memories from a lot of races that I've done around here. And then, of course, Reti Himalaya happened at some point, and that changed my life altogether because then I went to pursuing cross country rallying, and I did my first international one at Abu Dhabi. It didn't go according to plan. It pretty much went up in flames. And
Wow. Okay.
from then on to go back the next year to finish top 10, and then that following year to get qualified to participate in the Dakar, for them to accept my entry and actually give me a sponsored entry. Because the Dakar, you know, it costs close to 18,000 euros, I think, for a entry fee.
How many euros?
Yes, that's
Wow.
right.
Okay.
That's what I said. That's what I said when
Wow.
I first heard 18,000 euros. Yes. So that's a fair bit of money. So yes, they did give me my entry fee, and then I found myself at the Dakar. And as you know, I mean, everybody knows I was able to finish my first Dakar. Extremely fortunate. And from then on, made my way to some races in India, and then found myself at Hero, which has been pivotal because I've been able to pursue my dreams of not just going and competing, not just participating in rallies, but actually now to have the ability to compete.
Yeah, man. So, tell me, you were saying you motocross and all that. How much more? Like, you need a lot more endurance for rally raids, right? Like, because you're doing
Um,
something like, or is it like the training sort of similar for it? And then, I don't know. Tell us about that.
yeah, so you know, motocross, you know, most formats of racing are quite short, like 20 laps or like 20 minutes. So it's high
But
intensity
even
here.
even that is quite a workout, right? Like I've done a
Yeah.
little bit of dirt track racing and 6 laps and I
Uh-huh.
was dead.
Yeah. Did you get like arm pump?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah,
get arm
for
pump?
everything, man.
Yeah.
Like I was breathing like I'd run maybe a kilometer,
Uh-huh.
flat out. Yeah, it was just I
Uh-huh.
was dead.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
no, no, for sure. For sure, people think that because you ride a motorcycle, you know, you don't really need to do anything. You just sit on the bike and twist the throttle, and it pretty much goes where you want it to go. It's never like that. And yes, for sure, it takes a huge amount of effort to race supercross and motocross. And it's a short format of racing, so high intensity. We like average close to 185 beats per minute. You know, that's
wow.
the average for a 20-minute race or a 20-lap race. So it's high intensity sprints. So going from that to then competing, when I did the raid, I was like, it blew my mind because it blew my mind on various different levels, not just the aspect of being able to ride, but it was the overall aspect of being able to ride for 5 days and to compete in stages that were like 80 to 100 kilometers, and the altitude and the fact that every corner was a cliff and the cold and not being able to eat enough. I mean, I can just go on and on and on. But
Yeah.
yes, it's just different formats of racing, and for sure, like Toby was saying, the first time when I did the Dakar, the energy that you spend is incredible. You cannot even fathom the kind of energy that each one of us puts out to compete, not just the whole Dakar, but every single day. It's incredible.
It's because you're basically going flat out all the time and over pretty much unknown terrain, right? Like it could be a different rock somewhere, something.
Sure.
So you're always concentrating, right? When you're
Yeah,
going, when you're
so
going.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. If you want to go fast, you have to always look at the road book, try and gauge what's coming from the road book, and then from then try and read the terrain. And sometimes the speeds of the stages are really high. Sometimes it's in the dunes. So there's a lot of work. It's never like you sit on the valley bike and you have thoughts about what your dog is doing or
Yeah.
what your friends are doing. It's never that, you know. Um, when you're racing, you definitely are fully occupied.
Yeah,
So
but,
it
but
takes a
because
fair bit of energy.
I was looking at one of the navigation tasks.
We're trying to work on it.
Yeah, but I've started cycling sort of. I
Yeah.
mean, I do about an hour of cycling in the sun, but like, what
Mhm.
kind of cycling do you do? I mean, that also helps, right, with the endurance bit.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no, I think even with you sitting at home and you know just sitting on the trainer, I think it definitely helps as well.
Yeah. So you think you cycle indoors? You do that?
Yeah, of course. I have my Scott bicycle. She's actually just sitting right here. But
Okay.
yes, so yeah, I do use the trainer and sit on it when I can't get on the road. But
Ah,
otherwise, I use the mountain bike as well. Sometimes just go around the track, on the flat track, on the motocross track. You know.
nice, nice. Yeah. So I pretty much ride here outside on the thing. But do you find that like somebody was saying, cycling indoors,
Mhm.
you tend to overexert yourself? Is that can you do that? Is that I mean,
Actually, what you can say is cycling indoors gives you like a really good workout in a shorter span of time.
yeah,
Because you know, if you're sitting on the tarmac, you get times that you can actually recover because there's a slope, you know, and you don't have to pedal. But when you're
yeah,
sitting indoors, you need to constantly be on the pedal to keep the wheels turning. So you
yeah.
can definitely get a really good workout sitting at home on the trainer.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So that would the same. But tell me now, with this lockdown, the situation we're in, what is the deal with the next? What is the next plan for you?
The next plan actually is we need to see when this really opens up, and we have to test. We have to do some testing, and we actually have planned only to compete in September. So this year, pretty much in the beginning, we didn't really plan on competing in many races. So September, October is when we start to compete. And actually, one of the rallies that we're going to compete in Morocco, they just announced that they've opened their entries.
Oh yeah, they
And I
have.
think,
Okay.
yes, they've opened their entries. And like you said, with the times today, the Valley organization also is making some notes on that. So even though it's in Morocco, we usually sometimes stay close to the city or a town, but this time they want to set up a bivouac away from the city and town. And also, they're going to try and make sure that the riders and the drivers don't have to go into town for anything that they might need, even if it's just a liaison to pass through. They're going to try and avoid most towns and cities that they can. And also, I guess, in terms of sanitization, they're going to obviously have better sanitization for all of the food, the people, the personnel, everybody. I think hopefully at that point in time, everybody also has a test done, or a test kit to figure out if it's safe
Anyone's
enough to
got.
run this rally. Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
hopefully it happens and we'll be good to compete in October.
yeah. Who would have thought? Huh? I mean, you had to. I mean, I'm sure getting a rally together itself is a huge logistical and organizational this thing, and now you have to add this to it also. But yeah, it's all for
Yeah,
it. It is a necessity right now.
yeah,
No.
exactly. Changing times.
So I'm guessing you're really looking forward to that because for you, sitting at near 0 kilometers an hour every day must be
Yeah.
quite a pain.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Huh?
it's true. It's true. I guess me and you both are feeling it because we want to get out there and ride our motorcycles. So yeah, I'm with you on this.
So okay, so now how will you get back? Like, I mean, I'm sure you're riding the bikes every day at Big Rock. Yeah, just so that I haven't been on the bike for I think a month now. Yeah, I've
Uh-huh.
forgotten what it's like to sit on the bike. So
Uh-huh.
the
You
other
have
day
it.
the other day I found cobwebs on the bike, and I was like, it's never happened before.
Uh-huh. I saw you setting up some cones and then trying to navigate through the cones.
Oh
You
yeah,
know.
that's just like when I get really bored.
No,
Yeah.
I think you entertain a lot of us. I actually watch your page and it's quite entertaining to watch you get
Wow.
out there.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
So keep up the
So
good work. Yeah.
oh man, yeah. I'm just. I think more than anything, I'm just trying to keep my brain entertained.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So tell me your three most like crazy experiences at a rally.
Okay, so I actually, to be honest, I think there is actually I would say three of those experiences actually can come from my first Dakar,
Okay.
and I think I'd like to start maybe the first experience probably was being able to make the Dakar. Because when I made my first Dakar, I did it as a privateer,
Yeah.
and the journey to actually go about as a privateer is so much more different than what I'm on today on a factory team. To be able to first organize funds for an event like the Dakar is a Herculean task by itself.
Yeah.
So, like I said to you, like the entry fee alone is 80,000 euros.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how much it costs to get a service crew together, to pay for
Service
your
crew, the
flights,
bike. Yeah.
hotels, and the bike. Yeah, all of those things are astronomical if you think about it. So yes, though making it to my first Dakar, I didn't know if I was going to make it at all. And even towards the end, I still hadn't paid the guy, the team manager. I still owed him, I think, 30,000 euros. I still hadn't paid
Okay.
him.
Okay.
But I decided to board the plane and I went to Buenos Aires and I spoke to him and I said, I don't have the money for you right now, but for sure I'm going to be able to organize it at some point in time. And he said, don't worry about it. Think about the race. That was one
Wow, man.
moment. A lot of weight just got lifted off my shoulders, and that is when I actually started thinking about the race. And that was definitely a crazy moment for me because to get from where I was to the Dakar was incredible. And then I would say the next crazy moment was in the Dakar. There was a stage that went to Bolivia. Okay, this was Uyuni was the marathon stage, in this Dakar. We did actually this Dakar, Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile. This for sure, in all of my Dakars, this is
This was
definitely
the
the hardest Dakar.
2015
Yes,
Dakar, right?
2015. Yes, this was the hardest Dakar. If you ask me, in terms of what the terrain had to offer, it was incredible. So, anyways, the stage was quite long. I don't know. I think it's over 300-kilometer stage, and we started to go up to Uyuni, and I think there was still about 150, 160 kilometers to go. Yeah, and it started to rain. So in Bolivia, when the places that we're passing are all like really mellow, high altitude hills, rolling hills. Okay, so when it rains, you start to get flash floods. Okay, and it started to piss down rain, and it was I think 6 degrees, something like that. And this is the first time that I'm actually riding in weather close to this, because in India you don't really get to experience temperatures like this when you're riding. And I stopped for a second because there were a bunch of riders that had stopped in front of me, and they were all actually standing near a hut. There was a hut in the middle of nowhere, and they were all trying to get some cover. And it was already quite late in the evening. It was close to 4:30 or 5 in the evening. And I just thought that because it's raining, they're going to cancel the stage and someone's going to come get us. And I thought this is what everybody does. And they said to me, there's no way anyone's coming for you. You're on your own. This is the Dakar. It's raining. Nobody gives a shit. You need to make it to Uyuni. Okay? And this was the first time I realized what I'd gotten myself into, in terms of I'd never planned for a situation like this. So within the next 10 kilometers, I came across a big river crossing. The river crossing was close to 200 meters. So I was standing on the bank of the river, and you needed to get to the other side, which was 200 meters across, and there was a small village. And that river, previously, for all the competitors that had passed, was dry. There was nothing there. There was no water.
This was
But
part of
when
the
we
flash
got
flood.
there, yeah, so when we got there, it was a raging river. You couldn't see the bottom of it, and you had no idea what was there. And this is for a guy that's never seen anything like this in his life, you know? So I went there, and then I stood, and I looked to my left and I looked to my right. There were close to like 20 or 30 riders all lined up on the bank, and none of them spoke English, because it's really hard to find people that speak English at the Dakar, at least when I did it at that point in time. And I wanted to ask them for advice, but I didn't know what to ask them. It was raining, the bikes were on, you couldn't hear each other, and they spoke a different language. And then it was just something that I just said, okay, listen, we need to go, we need to cross this river. Whoever crosses this river is going to be a hero.
Yeah.
So as soon as I took off, there's another guy next to me who took off next to me. And I decided to go to the left. I decided to go upstream because I could see the currents a little bit. And I just thought that maybe this is a better way. And then he decided to go downstream. And in the corner of my eye, I kept watching him. And I could see that the river was so big and swollen. At some point in time, it completely swallowed him and the bike, and he was gone. Okay? And then here I was, in the middle of the river, looking back, and nobody had gotten into the river. They were just me. And they were all just watching me to see if this guy's going to make it or not. And then this is the moment where I just knew that I was going to either make it or I'm going to get washed out. And I started to go up in the river. I don't know how I did it. The bike towards the end of the river, there was a huge hole. It went into the hole, and the bike started to sputter because the water started to get into the air filter. And I just gave full gas, and I just prayed to God. And it just made it over to the bank, and it stopped. Okay? It just made it over to the bank, and it stopped. And dude, I felt like a hero. I just felt like all these guys watched what a real man can do. Okay, this is what I was totally into it. I felt so heroic and all that. But
what happened to the other guy?
The other guy was gone. The bike was totally gone, and I think he didn't finish. He was swept down river, but it wasn't that deep that you couldn't make it out. So he made it out, but that was the end of his Dakar.
The bike was done. Huh?
Yeah. So and then I stopped on that bank, and dude, it took me 1 hour to remove an air filter, to take the water out, and then put it back. 1 hour, because it was 5 degrees and my hands were not working because I was wet and it was cold, and the simplest task took forever. So this is one crazy memory that I have from 2015 Dakar. And then again, another crazy memory was the next day. The next day, everybody thought they're going to cancel the stage because it was raining on the salt flats. They had 3 inches of water on the salt flats, okay? and we had to do 130 kilometers on the salt flat. All the top guys, they just shook their head and said, no, we're not going to start. But then the president of Bolivia came in on his chopper and he landed, and the television crew was there. It was live, whatever. So the organizer said, hey, listen, the man's here. You guys don't have a choice. You need to start. And everybody was so pissed. But then they had to start the Dakar. So all the top guys started. They started us in waves. I think there was 20 riders together and you start, and 20 riders and then again you start. And I remember on this salt flat, man, I was sitting, holding it wide open, and all of us together in a line. And I look to the left and I look to the right, and you can watch every now and then somebody is just stopping. And I was like, dude, why is he getting off the gas? Why is this guy getting off the gas? I couldn't understand why they were getting off the gas and stopping. And then I looked down and I started to see all kinds of lights going on and off on my KTM. And then I kind of realized that it's because of the salt. The salt mixed with water. And because of the spray, it starts to get into the radiator, starts to block the radiator, gets into all of the electrical bits, and starts to inhibit all of the electrical working systems. And this is again a time when I prayed to God and I said, it's not in my hands, it's in your hands. Do what you can. And believe it or not, dude, I made it to the end of that stage. And when I finished that stage, like everybody in the bivouac, in the KTM, actually I went close to the KTM tent because my setup was right next to the KTM tent. And all of the guys started clapping for me. And I was a bit surprised because I thought I won the stage. I'm like, did I win the stage? I was just kidding, but I just thought like I felt like a stage winner because that was how intense that day was. Because I think only 70 bikes finished that day. It was one of the out of I don't know 160 or something like that. Only 70 bikes finished that day.
Wow. Okay.
So half the field just was done on that day. So
I guess
one.
That's what makes the Dakar what it is, no? Because it's totally unpredictable and they make you do it. I mean, you have to do it. You're there.
Yeah, like in India, you can go and tell the guy organizer, hey, I don't think I want to compete. It doesn't look safe, or most people can get away with something, But in Dakar, they don't care. They said you need to do it. So that's incredible about the race.
Which brings me to the other point that so as a biker, you're inevitably going to fall at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're going flat out over unknown terrain. So when you do, and you have had a couple. How do you get back on the bike and go fast again? I mean, how long does it? What does it take? Is what I'm trying to.
Yeah, I would say like I'm sure you've also crashed, and I guess all of us that ride motorcycles. It's not about if you're going to crash, you're going to crash for sure. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, but I can get up and ride slowly. You can't.
Yeah. Okay, but you still get up and you ride your motorcycle. So the point is that for sure it's I think it's really difficult in terms of the mental aspect of it. Physically your body will recover. You go through the process. First you say that you feel the pain, the surgery, and then it's the waiting for it to heal. All of those things will happen irrespective with time. But I think the key is to be able to pick up the speed basically back to where it was. And I think that comes from desire and also feeling that you're lucky. You need to feel I think in this sport, all of us that compete in the Dakar, at one level or another, we all feel that we're lucky. We feel that we have a certain good fortune that rides with us. And as long as you have this feeling and as long as you feel like you're meant to do what you're doing, I think you will find the motivation to go as fast as you can on that rally bike.
Also slightly nuts, no? You have to be.
That's what I look at all the guys competing in the Dakar and I say, dude, you guys are nuts. Why do you guys come here and compete and do it every year? I look at them and I say that honestly. Like, I was talking to Toby.
And the person who's saying that has gone back every year since he started.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I was talking to Toby the other day, and Toby also was saying that in the mornings when he starts his stage, he doesn't even wear a jacket. Because when I see the guy in the morning, it's 4 or 5 degrees. He's only wearing his valley jacket, which is meant to breathe. Okay. Yeah. And with that, he's sitting on the highway for 200, 300 kilometers and he doesn't feel the cold. And I just think these guys are crazy. It's incredible.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the other. What is the gear like? I mean, what how is it? I'm sure it's much more advanced than the road gear that we use, mainly because I'm guessing the costs involved are like there's no real stopping on budgets. Yeah, but like, is it very different from road gear? Is it? I mean, I've crashed in my.
Hmm.
It's got the MIPS technology and all that, so I know
Yeah.
it's safe. I've crashed in it at 120, walked away from it. Then
Wow,
again,
have
just
you?
taken it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but is your rally equipment very different from it? Is it? I mean,
Okay,
I'm sure it's also fireproof and stuff like that, right?
okay, so I'm gonna break it to you. So the rally equipment, I use a Scott jacket and my pants, of course, Scott. In off-road riding, correct? We try and have riding gear that allows us to breathe. So the jacket really doesn't come with protection. What
Yeah.
it comes is with utility. So we have a lot of utility in the sense that there's a place for us to place our camelbacks, which is like 3 liters of water that you can place in the back. From then we have multiple pockets like on the left, on the right, and then wherever you can find places, we have pockets because we need to carry food for the day. I also need to carry my sat phone. Also need to be able to carry some tools if I can't fit them in the bike.
So that's
So
that's
there's a
on
lot
you
of
also. That's in your
yes, yes,
pockets.
yes. So
Wow.
yes,
Okay.
so there's a lot of things that you want to be able to carry in your jacket. The jacket alone, if I gave it to you, would probably weigh 5 kilos.
Ouch.
Easy.
Okay.
five
Yeah.
to 6 kilos easily, just the jacket, because we just carry a lot of stuff. But like you said, we don't have like safety equipment built into the jacket because we wear it for utility. And of course, I wear Scout goggles as well. Vision
Yeah.
is really important. And
Yeah.
I'm really happy with the prospects because, it allows me various changing light conditions that adapts to. So basically, I can start in the morning when it's almost dark and I can wear my Scott goggles, and as the light progresses and it gets harsher, the lens change. So I'm really happy with being able to just wear one goggle. But yeah, all in all, rally racing and off-road, they don't really have a lot of safety. So that's one of the things that they're actually going to address this year moving forward. Because of the incidents that have happened in rally racing, to try and see if we can incorporate an airbag system, which
Ah.
I don't
Okay.
know
Yeah.
how. Yeah, I don't
I,
know
I
how
think I think
possible.
somebody's already made an airbag. Who
Yeah,
was it
so
recently? Yeah.
yes, Alpine Star has an airbag,
Yeah. Advanced
but
Stars got, yeah.
yes, but they have it only for road racing. So it's even that airbag is like really difficult for us to wear because, like I said to you, it's for us we need breathability because we move a lot on the motorcycle and it's really hot. And yeah, if it gets hot, it's not possible for us to wear something like that.
Yeah, and you won't be able to last the whole. I mean, it's as it
Yeah.
is hot on the bike. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
most probably like in a race, you could I don't know how many times. Sometimes you crash every now and then, it could be a small crash. And if something deploys, then again it's a
Yeah.
problem.
Then you're
So
stuck there. Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
yeah, yeah. So they need to find an innovative solution. So maybe Scott is gonna come up with something interesting. We never know. We need to wait and see.
Yeah. So you use a Scott Prospect, is it? You're saying?
Yes, I use a Scott Prospect. Yes, I have. I have my
Me
goggles.
too.
Yeah. Hey, that lens that you have is really good for the dunes. It's really good for the dunes.
Why is that really good for Dune?
It's just the color because it's bluish, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
bluish.
It is.
That is really good at high noon, like in the dunes, because you cannot see at high noon. You cannot see the shadows in the desert. So the
Yeah.
dunes actually look like it's a plateau.
Whoa.
So yeah, so you can't really see the ups and downs. So that
So
one actually helps a little bit.
this kind of adds some definition to it.
Yeah, this kind of helps because it filters a lot more of the really harsh light.
Ah, cool, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I've ridden mostly. I mean, I actually haven't ridden many dunes. Any dunes rather. Yeah, it's
Hey, you should.
mostly
I saw you went to Morocco recently. You should
Morocco.
definitely
Yeah.
go next time. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was we didn't do much dunes. We did very little bit of it, small dune.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but that and some beach and a lot of off road. Yeah,
Yeah.
but to ride the new Tiger, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. It was really, really pretty. All the places that you went to, they were really pretty.
Yeah, man. Morocco. I've been to Mazuga, where the
Uh-huh.
rally is, I think. Yeah, and I fell in love with the place, so I had to go back. I mean, I have to go back sometime on a bike. Um,
Uh-huh.
we were there's a road called the Atlantic Road. It's got the Atlantic on
Uh-huh.
the right and the Sahara to the left, and you're going down to
Wow,
Western
imagine
Sahara.
that. Yeah.
And we were driving. It was dusk, and we were driving a Mercedes GL through this road. And
Uh-huh.
I'll never forget because when we're driving this bunch of motorcyclists, they
Hmm.
just went flat out past us on this road into the sunset, and I was like, that was the first time I was driving a GL, and I was like, shit, those guys are having a better time. Man. Yeah,
Yes,
but
sounds epic. Yeah, it is epic. You know, Morocco is a fascinating place.
yeah, man. So we have some questions. Ishan
Hola, Pepe.
Bhattaya, do you wanna address Ishan Bhattaya? No, right? No, we don't want him. We don't want
Ishan,
him.
I mean, we just can you put him on ignore or not? It's not possible.
Yeah, I think we can put him on it now. How do you do
Yeah,
that?
he seems to have a lot to say. You know, this guy has a
Yeah,
lot to say.
I know. Suddenly, huh? But yeah, somebody had asked your the specs on your bike. I don't think you're allowed to. I mean, it's a trade secret, right? The
Yeah,
specs
yeah,
on
it's a
your
trade
rally bike.
secret. You know, we can't
Yeah,
reveal information on a public platform. I'm sorry, guys.
I know. Sorry, I can't give you my Maggie recipes either, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, the sorry about the race bike. It is a race
Mhm.
bike, and here's one. How did you feel by giving your tires to Mark Coma in the first Dakar? See, that's what I love about the
Um,
Dakar. Those stories like that, yeah, because you always help
yeah.
everyone around. It's not
It,
just about the competition, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're competing as a privateer, the world is totally different. Like at the Dakar, the richest experiences that I've had is, you know, when I did it 2 years as a privateer. And that was the most incredible journey that I've had at the Dakar. So yes, one of those years in the second marathon, the Bolivia one was the first marathon, and then they had a second marathon in Argentina. And I think the fight was pretty close between Paulo and Mark. That year, I think there was not much time between them, and of course, I was running a KTM, and Mark asked me if I could help him with my tires because obviously I wasn't going fast back then. You know, I was pretty much my tire was looking pretty much brand new at the end of the stage. So he asked me, and I said, yeah, for sure. You know, I'd love to help you. And for me, that was I knew it was his last Dakar, and it kind of felt like I had a really small part to play in that victory. Maybe I could write home something about it, you know. So I was able to give him my time.
I hope you write a book about all this because I think it makes for a great read.
Yeah, the first Dakar, lots of stories, man, lots of stories.
Oh man, yeah, it must have been such it's. I mean, it's been my dream to try and take part, but I've been too scared. I don't think I have the guts to do it. So there.
No, I think you can actually do a cross country rally in India, and then you can see what you want to
Yeah,
do for
yeah,
sure, for sure.
pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another question. Who's your guru, Santosh?
Who is
Who are
my
the guys
guru?
you look up to?
Well, I've had lots of people that I've looked up to in different stages in life. And I think in the beginning, one of the guys that really helped me when I first started writing, like in Bangalore, was this guy called Charlie. I don't know if everybody knows him in Bangalore, but yeah, he was this crazy guy, but he helped me a little bit. From then on, I spent a fair bit of time actually in Australia in the beginning. I think 2 or 3 years I spent some time in Australia, and I met this another crazy character. I met Daniel McCoy. So I spent some time training with him and learning. Actually, I think a lot of my work ethic in terms of trying to be fit, all that comes from him because the guy was crazy. From then on, I've had various different influences all at the right time in my life. And I think today, I would say, like in Hero, I definitely have Wakim that really helps me a lot. Paulo also, when he was around, was an incredible human being. He just gave so much, and he really contributed to the team and also to my growth. So yeah, I mean, just being able to find those kind of people that can help you actually takes you a really long way.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I can only imagine. Okay, I think we're almost to see. But one last question, man.
Okay,
When you cross the finish line at the Dakar, what is the first thing you do?
first thing that I did.
Yeah,
You mean to be honest, you know, when you cross the finish line, when I crossed the finish line at Dakar the first year, I was spent already. The moment of realization came when like I told you about Uyuni in the Dakar, the salt flats. When I made it that day, I knew I was going to finish the Dakar for the first time. It's just the feeling that you have, and I
yeah,
already lived through that experience in my head while I was still competing in the Dakar. When I finished, it was merely a formality, And of course, we went out, we drank the best wine, had the best meat. You know, we all went out and we partied. You know, it was an incredible experience because all of us. I also happened to go out with all the riders as well. You know, so you get to see all the top guys also just chilling and drinking a beer. So it was nice. That was what we did.
Awesome, man. What a I also asked. I met Ricky Brabeck recently,
Hmm.
and I asked him, dude, what do you do? And he's like, Toby told me to switch my phone off, and I
Uh-huh.
did, and now I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
I think it's
yeah. Go
no,
on.
no, no. No, I was saying it's an incredible experience. I'm sure for Ricky to be the first guy to win it from America for sure.
Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, I think we've got a good this thing. Thanks for your time. Yeah, it's was a real fun conversation because I love stories like this about this. I'll keep telling people about it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Hey, thank you so much for graciously hosting me. It was
oh
really nice
man,
talking to you.
my pleasure.
And and for sure, keep up to all of the antics that you've been up to on Instagram.
I
Gonna be
will try,
following you.
man.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll see you soon. Hopefully, yeah. Once this is
Okay,
over.
sure, sure.
All right.
Definitely. Take care, man.
Thanks everyone for
Okay.
tuning in. And if
Yeah,
you
see
have
you.
any questions, please ask the Scott handle, and we'll get back to you. All right. Cheers, man. All right, guys. I hope that was fun. Like I said, if you have any more questions, gear related, anything, just send it in, and we will get back to you. How's that sound? Cheers.